Two artists based in the county have published a book featuring work from a series of exhibitions. Volker Stox and Leroy Smith have grown Revolver Art Cornwall out of an initial event in 2003 to include work from 60 contemporary artists. They spoke to Jonathon Coudrille about the development of the book and exhibitions.
We're sitting in the granite mullioned window of a remarkable arts and crafts house overlooking the black Atlantic beyond Morva. Volker Stox is obviously not a Cornish name. Where are you from?
I am from Germany originally, but I have lived in the UK for over 30 years now, since my graduation.
And when and why did you first come to Cornwall?
We lived in London for a long, long time, and then for a short time in France as well, and then came up to Cornwall. And so we ended up in Penzance because a friend lived here. And It turned out for me to be really much the best place to be, because West Penwith is absolutely wonderful landscape and place to live, and Penzance is very nice as well.
Leroy Smith, that's another Cornish name. Where are you from?
I'm actually from London, and I moved down about 8 years ago with my young family.
And what attracted you?
Moving out of London, I wanted to find something very different, and I found that in Cornwall. A lot of people here come from different places, and a lot of people are travel, so there is that interaction.
Cornish cosmopolitanism.
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed, yeah.
Volker, we're in Morva, and you live, as did in the days of Nicholson, Garbo and Hepworth, the incoming sculptor, painter and distinguished writer Sven Berlin. And you live in the wonderful house that belonged to the English surrealist painter John Tunnard, with whom I was privileged to study in the 60s. Berlin said he felt a dark chthonic energy here in Morva in Penwith that drove his work. Are you sensitive to atmosphere? Does it affect what you do?
Most definitely. And I'm very privileged to be allowed to live in this house. It was a very, very great coincidence. We actually managed to buy it. So it was kind of a sort of sense of destiny there in a way. And then there was the strange coincidence with John Tunnard, who lived here apparently from 47 to 53, I think.
Yes.
And he is a landscape artist, surrealist landscape artist, as we now know. But I did not know about his work, nor did I know that he lived in this house until it was pointed out to me by a reviewer of one of my exhibitions who detected
that there is a similarity in the work. Yes.
Now, I have to say, I have never seen a Tunnard painting in my life before. And I was, in fact, working in what was ostensibly his studio, making this work.
Yes.
And I don't know, make of it what you will, but there is somehow something, maybe a connection, which is nice and amusing.
Now, I'll ask you both simultaneously. When you came and settled in Cornwall, did you immediately start to work on things that were to do with being here, or did you continue with projects that you'd already got in your mind that you brought with you from elsewhere?
There was a group of us that all moved here at a similar time, and I think there was a groundswell of connections between people, which was very exciting. And because we had come from places like London and big cities, there was a bit of a hunger for showing ambitious, large-scale work. We were all very fired up by the work we were making, so Volker got together with someone called Richard Ballinger and started the first projects.
Yes, because I met you, of course, at the launch of your remarkable book, Revolver Art, and I am frankly astonished at your energy and achievement. From my own experience, I know how hard it is to administer and to work creatively at the same time. Were you able to do that?
Yes, indeed. It's kind of the one fires the other.
Yes.
In 2003, we did our first exhibition, and it came out of a sort of sense of frustration. There were lots of people here making very, very interesting art with very few opportunities to actually show it.
Yes.
So we had the idea of doing a kind of a warehouse show, getting good people together and showing their work in a biggish space that we could find, which is a kind of the precursor to the Revolver shows, which came a couple of years later, which I then did together with Jesse. So, I mean, art has curated exhibitions. But it all comes out of the energy of the artists who are here, who we got to know slowly, making the work, providing the work, and for us to be fired up enough to, yes, we want to show all this, and it will be fantastic, and it will be outside of the established gallery system and so on. It will be completely come from the grassroots.
Tolstoy said that art is the process by which a man, having experienced a feeling, intentionally transmits it to another. And obviously that's the driving spur. But there's also the need to live. The public outside of the arcane world of the arts generally assumes that one paints pictures, puts them in galleries, people buy them and hang them on the wall. Could your project have worked like that?
It could if one had prepared it in that way, but we didn't set out to do a selling show. We set out to do a showing show. Some works were sold, which helped with the little budget that we had, with a bit of money coming in.
Did you bring with you a knowledge of how to obtain funding?
Not really, no. We made an application to the Arts Council, which was quite grueling, but only because we were new to it. We did actually get the money in the 11th hour from the Arts Council, but we were going to push ahead regardless and find further money because our ambition grew. And then we thought about how the show could be structured so that each week it would be different. So that would allow the idea to have parties every Friday, which would be a way of raising a certain amount of money. Having a bar in a gallery is the most reliable way of funding something. But also it's all intrinsic to the project that it was a social idea that we wanted to. We didn't want to just show work. We wanted to create an energy and a kind of social energy.
You make it sound terribly easy, actually. I don't imagine that it really was. Did the Arts Council help you? Did they say to you, look, we will work with you, you need to have this and this and this?
They were actually quite good, actually. I think they were excited to see a new wave of energy come through in Cornwall, and they're keen to encourage it.
It was amazing how much help we were offered, and there were a lot of visits from administrators to the gallery looking what we were doing and so on, you know. And other connections were made in this way as well.
Yes, because you've got private sponsors as well, haven't you?
We got some private sponsors later on for the book.
And did they come to you, or did you go and bang on the door?
We went and banged on their door, which
but only because they'd come to our parties and had a good time with us, and that oils the wheels.
And the result, of course, is wonderful. Now, I'm going to hold this book close to the microphone so that you can hear the beautiful quality of that linen binding. It's a striking typographical cover in the tradition of great art books. It's a thick, heavy, and delightful object in itself. It seems to have fallen open, actually, at a picture of one of Jessie's finest paintings. I wonder if that was an accident.
Yes, a wonderful painting.
The book is absolutely amazing. I cannot recommend this too highly. I would say everybody that can, rush out and buy this book and immerse yourself in the art that was produced for this remarkable series. Volker Stox and Jessie Leroy Smith, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Jonathon Coudrille was talking to Volker Stox and Jessie Leroy Smith about their book Revolver Art Cornwall. It's available from most bookshops and many art galleries. There's more information at the website www.revolver-art.org. Coudrille's Cornish Cream is a Sound Mind production for Cornwall World Radio.